Hello and welcome to the Average Toast Podcast featuring CRPA and Cryst4l.
I'm Cryst4l.
He's Cryst4l.
That's-
He's actually just Crystal, but instead of the A, he had to put 4. Which is something you always hate when people put numbers in their username.
Yeah, I do hate that because it's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, that's your username.
Well, I'm a hypocrite, so.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm a hippie. So...
So we're
at a beach house.
We're at a beach house right now. It's really pretty.
It's not really that pretty.
Well,
it's not very exceptional.
Not the inside, but the outside looks cool as fuck.
Is it exceptional on the? You mean the surroundings?
Yeah,
not the actual house.
No, not the actual house. I'll slap. It's not like one of those $1 million beach houses you're probably thinking of.
It's probably less than 1,000.
No, yeah,
it looks like it's less than 1,000.
Really, it's such an old.
It's an old one though.
Apparently, someone died here.
Oh yeah.
Is what they were talking about when we got here.
Someone.
Yeah, someone died here, and he was like, I don't know if they died in here, but the guy that we're staying with was like, he lived here for a while, and then he died. So now his son owns it. We were like, well, did he die? Did he die in here? Where did he die? If he lived here, I'd imagine he died here, right? Unless he.
Well, he died.
Well, anyways, he died. So that's awesome.
Surprised this place survived all the hurricanes that it's had to live through,
That's
considering how old it is.
Well, this shore wasn't really hit that hard by Harvey, was it?
No, but it was hit hard by Ike.
Oh.
Mega hard.
Yeah.
Literally everywhere was destroyed here.
Yeah, we're right by the Gulf of Mexico in Lake Jackson. Is that where this is?
No, definitely not Lake Jackson. Closer to Galveston-ish.
Where it's in Texas, wherever it is.
Lake Jackson's miles away.
Lake Jackson.
But anyway, yeah, we're at a beach house. It looks, it doesn't look good, but the surroundings are super cool, and that gave us the idea to talk about ocean stories and fishing stories.
And I'm not a big ocean person. I'm actually really scared.
I like the ocean. I just don't like fishing.
No, I don't like fishing. I don't like the ocean either. I'm scared of it.
I like the ocean.
I like the ocean.
Not the tone I said it in.
But yeah, I like. I'm scared of the ocean.
Really? Well, that makes sense. We don't know very much.
Yeah, we only was it 2% of the ocean.
1 to 2%. Might even be less than that, to be honest.
So there could be a megalodon somewhere.
No. We would have seen a megalodon by now.
But how do we know? No.
We know that the top layer of the ocean. We don't know the bottom layers.
Right.
And it's definitely not living down there because there's not enough food to sustain its large body.
So how that we know of? If we don't know anything about it.
We know that there's not many animals down there because we if there were a lot of animals down there, we'd be able to see them.
So we
constantly.
When they say 2% of the ocean, are we talking about
like
the
depth? Like all of it, surface to depth. Like we know the surface, probably most of it, but like once you go to the lower levels, we don't know very much.
But we know like species of fish and stuff like that.
The species of fish that live in the upper parts, and we know a lot of them live in the bottom parts, but there could be some that we don't know of. It's just they're not likely to be like megalodons or anything like legendary. Just some boring like shrimp or crustaceans or your mom too.
Yeah, I've only been deep sea. We went deep sea fishing
one time.
We
did. That was fun.
It was.
Was it 6 to 10 foot waves? It was bad.
It was terrible. And this, it was both the first time we had.
My dad was a fisherman who fished often. He said it was like one of the roughest things he's ever fished on.
Well, like pretty much everyone on that boat, minus like the little kiddies, was like experienced.
Yeah.
Like the guy we're staying with was talking about how. No. My dad was talking about something like that. My dad was talking about how a friend of his who's like used to stay out on the water for like weeks at a time just fishing, beforehand saw the waves and was like, hey, can I get like some Dramamine or whatever?
Yeah.
and he like doesn't. He never gets seasick. That's how bad it was. Yeah, it was really, really rough. There was a point
I forgot to take the Dramamine.
You probably should have.
That's why I got seasick.
Did you throw up?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Oh, you didn't have it like how my cousin Dane was on there.
Well, it's because I laid down.
That's
if
true.
I hadn't, I would have thrown up again. Absolutely.
Yeah, my cousin Dane. We weren't even at like 400 feet out, and he started throwing up just everywhere, and it was like that the whole time. We were out there all day.
Yeah, that was bad.
It was
for him.
Terrible. Dude, Ice-T's on the TV.
Dude, no one can see that.
Oh, yeah, but he's still on the TV. Well, we had Sanford and Son blasting earlier. But yeah, sorry, I saw Ice-T and I kind of drifted off. But yeah, that was awful.
That was bad.
I'm pasty white, so I like burn very easily.
I would have burned if I didn't get sick and stayed in the cabin area.
Yeah,
it was so bad for me that whenever I would sit up, I would start to get sick, so I had to lay down again. So I wouldn't.
There was a point where we hit a wave so fucking massive that like yeah. From my perspective, me and Heath is my other cousin. We had our legs against the we were sitting down, had our legs against the wall of the boat, and it's only like 3 feet tall. It got to a point where the wave was so massive that we at one point was vertical with the water. We were looking straight down at the water, and yeah.
I was inside when that happened.
What happened with you? Someone fell on you, right?
My dad almost fell on. He almost did. Yeah, because it was like vertical and we were sitting across from each other. So It was like I was looking like 90 degrees, 90-degree angle, looking at the other window and the other side of the boat.
Yeah, me and Heath.
And you guys almost fell.
Yeah, we almost fell into the water. We were like, and it's kind of funny. We definitely almost fell in, but like when it like. I'm trying to figure out how to work. When we were looking at the water in the process of it like moving, we were like, "Whoa!" And then we just heard all this stuff crashing.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, that was bad. There were like a bunch of small boats we saw like on the way. I'm worried that like what if they just
they're dead.
What if they capsized?
Yeah, they're dead.
There's like, but like we were in a boat that was like, I mean, it wasn't massive, but there were other boats that were like like half the size of ours.
Right.
I'm almost certain everyone on those boats is on the bottom of the ocean now.
Yeah, it was probably a 75-foot boat. Something like that.
It was pretty big, and there were like ones that were way smaller.
There were some that were like 10.
Like the waves were like crashing over them. Like water was getting
like we would see them, and then a huge wave would come in front of them, and we couldn't see them anymore, and then they would come back up.
I was very worried. I think they're dead.
They're probably dead.
They're absolutely going to die.
Seriously though, if you were to just get in a boat and go out and not tell anyone, and you were to sink, like no one would know, right? There'd be no way to know.
Nah, no one would know.
Yeah,
because they don't search for that kind of stuff regularly.
So. Who knows how many sunken boats?
There's a lot, I'm sure. Well, they'll probably.
We just don't know about.
Well, there's a lot of them that we'll probably know because it's unlikely that like if they went missing and they went missing right after they said they were going to go fishing with the boys.
No, they don't tell anybody.
Oh well, then yeah. Fishing. In that case, no.
So that we would never find that person.
Yeah, we never. I don't think that's a very common scenario.
I guess I'm sure they would make the connection that.
I'm sure
he was a fisher. Boat's gone.
I'm sure there's a missing persons report would find that out.
Right, but yeah, that was the only time. It was terrible. That was like one of the worst days of my life. It was bad.
That was bad. It wasn't one of the worst days of my life, but it was pretty bad.
But we had to. It started that we got up at like 3 or something like that, right?
I got up around that time, yeah.
Yeah, and so that doesn't help things. So we had to get up at 3, and for the rest of the day we were on the water.
It was warm that day too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was really hot that day.
And it was, like, the waves were constant. So, like whenever we got off the boat, like the motion sickness didn't go away for days. Like I would be taking a shower and I'd almost fall over.
Yeah. See, I wasn't affected by the motion. That much.
You weren't at all.
Which I'm glad.
Did you take any of the?
No, I didn't take any medicine.
You didn't take.
I don't really get seasick.
I didn't know I got seasick.
I only got seasick once. And the only time I've ever been seasick, and I wasn't even really like seasick per se. Me and my dad, we scuba dive, and my dad was like, "Hey, let's go on this dive trip with about 30 other people in a 100-foot boat that we don't know at all." And I was like, "No," and he was like, "Well, we're going to."
That'd be awful.
So
that's like my nightmare.
Yeah, so we waited like 2 hours because, like at the shore where the boat was, the guy came out and was like, "Hey, there's something wrong with the something, so we're gonna fix that." And we were out there for like 2 hours. Didn't know anybody there. He was talking with everyone. He's been diving for years, and I'm just kind of there. I was like probably the youngest person on the boat. And right before we get on the boat, I start to feel really sick, and my head starts to hurt, and I'm like, "Oh God!" So 2 days on the boat.
People you don't know.
To people I don't know, 100-foot boat, really sick. Like I felt really sick. I only went on one dive, and it wasn't even really a complete dive. That was it. Everyone else went on like 10 or 15. And there was, so where we stayed, it was like a little nook where all these bunk beds were. So, and there was no air conditioning at all on the entire boat. So I had to stay in my bed for the rest of the trip. Super hot, especially when everyone started to go to sleep because all that body heat. It was so hot, and it was terrible. That was a terrible 2 days.
That sounds worse than the other one when we went on.
It might have. I don't know if it was. It might have been worse.
It sounds worse. 2 days as well as a part.
The biggest problem was the heat because it was hot. It was probably like 80 or 90 in that room, and then when everyone went to sleep, it was even hotter than that. It was probably like almost 100 degrees in that room.
Lord.
It was.
Well, at night, shouldn't it be cooler?
What do you mean?
I mean, at night it gets cooler outside. Oh,
the door
inside,
was closed,
though,
and everyone was.
All that heat is just gonna marinate.
Mm-hmm. It was terrible. It was really bad.
It sounds just terrible.
Yeah. I'm just remembering it. It was terrible. Then the only other time I went deep sea fishing, I was asleep for most of it. So we had to get up at 5. And the two guys, so it was me, my dad, your dad, and then 2 guys that.
Oh, there was 2 other guys?
There was 2 other guys I didn't even know. They were the guys that owned the boat. Oh. And I like fell asleep like an hour in, and
you stayed asleep.
Actually, I totally forgot about this, but they bought 2 beanbags. So the 2 guys on the boat, I don't know what their names were, but they had 2 beanbags, and then we brought a beanbag, and we had the beanbag, and we were going out to the ocean, and we were in the little jetty, whatever, driving out there. And then we get out there, and the boat's going really fast. Like, we have to hold on to something, otherwise we'll, like, fly out into the water. And so we're out there, and we turn around, and the beanbag we bought was missing. So there's a beanbag probably at the bottom of the ocean.
That's bad.
Right now,
that's
somewhere.
Pollution.
That is pollution, yeah.
Pollution entertainment.
Pollution entertainment. But, then I fell asleep, like, an hour in, and the 2 guys were like, "Is he asleep?" And they were like, "Yeah, I guess he's asleep." No, he needs to be awake. He needs to be fishing. I didn't catch a single fish. They woke me up, and I didn't catch a single fish. And I'm like pasty white, so I sunburnt really bad. So yeah, that was my.
Yeah, my dad went fishing a lot. We had a lot of successful fishing trips, but there was like one time where we had a streak of like 3 that just failed like
miserably
in a row. So I forget. Okay, so the first one we weren't gonna go fishing. We were just gonna like drive his boat on the Brazos River. Mm-hmm. So we get on. We barely even start, mind you. Like we're not even like we're on like we get like maybe 10 feet into the water. And the motor stops working, and it's like in the middle of a current, and we're getting dragged, and there's no cell phone service. So if we got swept in the river, there's no one we could reach out to. We're just stuck
out there forever.
So we had like an automatic motor, which is like controlled by like a remote, so you can go slower. So we had to use that, and we barely were able to make it back to the shore, in one piece. And so that was, and then right after that we go, maybe like a few months after that we go fishing again, and we get on the boat and the steering doesn't work. So that one's also hard to get back because you can't just turn around. You have to like, it wasn't on the river though. There was no currents, but we had to like go back. The steering didn't work, and then we go again. We like catch a few fish, and then we realize that there's a leak in the boat, and it's filling up with water, and we're about to sink. So we have to drive back to shore, and we almost sink. We almost capsize the boat. We barely get back, and then whenever we drain it out, it's like draining for like hours.
Remember the end of Jaws when the boat starts sinking? Do boats do that when they sink? They like go up, right? They go upwards.
I forget. That's like big ships. Because that's well. Ours were. We didn't get far enough in that. It was just you could clearly tell it was sinking all at once.
Right.
And then all of a sudden we were previously like quite a bit above the water. Now you could like reach your hand down and touch it.
Right.
So we had to get back to shore.
Oh yeah, the Titanic too.
No, yeah, it's a thing that exists.
It's a thing that exists now, and it's gonna. We don't know when it's gonna set sail.
Supposed to in 2016.
It was supposed to, but it didn't. But now, So we don't know when it's gonna. Do you want to be on that boat?
I mean, just because of bad luck, probably not.
Yeah,
the first one didn't do all that great.
I was reading a story of a man that was on a boat and it started to sink and he survived. And for 40 years he had a fear of getting on boats and he never got on one. And someone finally convinced him to to get over his fear and get on a boat. And the boat that he got on was the Titanic. And
really?
He died. Yes.
I feel like that's probably a fake story, but
no, it's a real story.
It's like, I mean, I feel like it's like exaggerated though. A lot of stories that like are from that long ago are like exaggerated.
Right. I mean, maybe, I don't know, but I mean, that sounds so crazy it could be real. And yeah, me and my brother went. We were in Branson, Missouri, and we went to a Titanic museum.
I've been there.
Oh, you have?
I went to an amusement park.
Amusement park or a museum?
It was. I went to a different place.
Okay, yeah, I was about to say. But you've been to Branson.
I've been to Branson.
Okay. You're talking about Branson. I thought you meant the Titanic.
I went to an amusement park called Silver Dollar City.
Yeah, I've been. I think there's one in Oklahoma. Yeah, there's one in Oklahoma that I've been to.
Frontier City. I've heard it's very small and not very good.
Well, you'd be right. I'm not a huge roller coaster rider, but did you see that when you were in Branson, Missouri, the huge Titanic ship?
Probably. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's what that was. And so we went in, and my brother. One thing you need to know about him, he is almost 30 years old, and he's the most immature person I've ever met in my life. And I'm pretty convinced he is mentally retarded. Like, he's just the dumbest person I've ever met in my life. And we have these things where, I think if it, like, I can't remember, but I think it, like, turned green if you could go in, and ours was still red. And he was like, hey, let's go in. I was like, no, we have to wait until it turned green. He's like, no. So we go in there, and there's like a tour in progress. And they're like, are you with us? And we're like, nope. So we just went out there and waited until it turned green. Yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff there. They had a guy playing like piano in there, and we just went up and talked to him. It's like, how long have you been playing piano? And he's like, a couple hours now.
Do you know that the musicians on the Titanic, or supposedly the musicians on the Titanic sank with the ship?
Right. Just imagine like being waist deep in water and you're just.
I mean, they probably weren't. They're probably like, oh god,
yeah.
oh no.
Actually, there was a part where they had a small little thing of water, and it was how cold the water was.
Oh, it was freezing.
Yeah, and you could put your finger in to see how long you could last, and.
How long can you last? Can you last longer than Jack? Wait, was it? Yeah, was it?
Jack. I think my brother had a really bad infection on his finger.
Oh my god!
And he was like, "I wonder if I could put that in there." I was like, "No, you can't." He put his infected finger in there.
Do other people put their finger in after him?
They do, yeah. And I don't think they clean it. Would you need to clean it if it's that cold?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bacteria can live in above freezing temperatures.
Well, I'm sorry to whoever used it next. I'm really sorry.
I mean, unless they had a cut, it should be fine. Unless the other people had cuts, then they should be fine.
Have cuts?
On their finger, so the bacteria could get in.
Oh, so if they don't, then it's all good.
It's probably fine unless they touch their eyes or nose or mouth, which they will.
Immediately afterwards, they start sucking on their fingers.
Or it means like this little nose rub or a little eye rub. That kind of stuff happens. Well, I shouldn't have done that then with the corn virus.
Yeah, the corn virus
going on.
Stop touching your face.
We should stop touching our faces.
Yeah.
But we can't. We have a facial fixation. Facial fixation.
Oh yeah, another thing is sharks is something I'm scared of.
I'm not scared of sharks.
You're not scared of sharks?
I mean, I'm scared of the fact that, like, yes, they're scary, but they hardly ever attack humans.
I understand they hardly ever attack humans, but I still have the irrational fear of sharks are scary. That doesn't mean I don't want to go out and start killing sharks because they're dangerous man-eaters.
No, they're very important to the environment, to the ecosystem of the ocean.
Sharks kill like 12 people a year, and humans kill like
more than that.
I think it's like 1,000 something sharks every hour.
Yeah,
something like that. So very disproportionate. But yeah, and I think a lot of like fear of sharks has really. I think it's because of Jaws, really.
I think that's really helped it get bigger.
Yeah, like there was just a lot of misconstruations about sharks.
Misconceptions.
Whatever.
Misconstruation. I mean, I get what you were going for there. That's not the correct word. Oh, that's not a word.
Right. Well, anyways, sharks are still scary, but they're harmless little creatures. They're just big boy fishes.
Pop a shark. I've eaten 40 fish in the last 30 days.
It really, I think the bigger the animal is, the more people are afraid of it. Sometimes
elephants, no. Elephants are the largest land animal. People aren't usually afraid of elephants.
I'd be afraid of an elephant.
Well, most people aren't.
Most people are like, oh, an elephant, it's adorable.
And then he goes,
yeah, that's why.
And then it just charges you and you die immediately.
That's why I didn't know is you're supposed to just stand
there.
there.
You're supposed to stand your ground.
What happens if they don't? What happens if they keep running?
They won't. If you run, they'll just chase you.
Right, but what happens if you stand your ground, the elephant keeps running?
Well, you're fucked, but that doesn't happen very often.
Very often, but
no, because if an animal stands their ground, that's like a symbol of like, oh, they're strong, like they can take you until they run away. Elephants aren't as smart as us. They can't like wrap their heads around like, oh, he's standing there, but he's fooling me. They can't wrap their heads around that. If they stand there, they think, okay, it's a threat.
Yeah,
that's all their brain can think of, which is why standing there works.
Elephants are pretty smart though.
Yeah, but they're not human smart.
Well, yeah, no, there's no animal that's really human smart.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Not even gorillas or chimpanzees or anywhere near that level.
Right. But some fucking chimpanzees are really smart though.
They're really smart, but they can figure out stuff, but they can't communicate with humans or anything like that.
Right.
I think the closest, the smartest that they get is they can understand that other people think different things, other chimps think different things, but they can't imagine them thinking something that disagrees with them.
Right.
Or something like that.
And what's the thing that chimps they can't? They can't teach each other.
Something they can't. It's hard for them to imagine the minds of others.
Right. Yeah, and that makes sense.
That's what kind of stops them from being super smart. That's a shark. That's not a shark.
Well, yeah, but Make-A-Wish
sea turtle.
Make-A-Wish thingy just came on TV and it showed a dolphin. Dolphins are really
smart. That's my favorite
smart.
fish. You see that?
Oh yeah, the
submarine. That's my favorite fish. That's my favorite.
Don't as a kid with a brain tumor, don't say anything.
I want to say something so bad.
But dolphins are really smart too. Do you know dolphins are the only other animal other than humans that give each other names?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
The only other animals.
That's pretty. Yeah. Well, names, quotation marks. It's like.
Did you know that elephants are the only other animal that perform burial rituals?
Yeah, I did know that.
Yeah.
Are they the only other animal?
I think chimpanzees and dolphins kind of do, but elephants are the only ones that actually know that know the concept of death.
Right. And people have been speculating the whole elephant graveyard myth thing for a while.
This episode has ended early because of budget cuts. Goodbye.